What's up, everyone? So one thing I am super excited for in 2021 is I'm headed out to Colorado to do some snow biking with a couple good friends of mine. Really looking forward to this trip. Been a bucket list item I wanted to check off. Obviously the big concern for me, never kind of being out in the snow. I was kind of curious on what gear to buy. I didn't really want to rent stuff if I knew it was something that I could use other times. So I picked up the Klim Adrenaline GTX snowmobile boot. Does it work on my 1290? Does it work in some other areas? Was it worth purchasing these instead of just renting? So let's go ahead and check them out. Alright, so first thought with trying to find a boot that was waterproof and would keep me much warmer, you kind of have to sacrifice the taller boot. I usually wear, a seedy dirt bike boot. It doesn't have much insulation, so it's not going to really help me in the snow all day riding. So the first thing I was kind of worried about is what support would it give my ankle, my leg, how do my knee braces kind of fall into place. I do like the insulation in it. It seems really nice and warm. I like that it's pretty stiff around the ankle. I think it's going to provide a lot of great support. So I do see this boot as being something I can use just every day when it snows here. I think it's something that is comfortable to walk in, and we'll go ahead and give it a test in the snow here with just some everyday use, and then we'll jump on the 1290 when we get a nice cold day, and I'll test them out and see does it work. A little worried about how thick it is. Do I need to adjust the shifter? How does it feel in my rear brake? Different stuff like that. On the bottom it has some nice grip. I think this will be really good for moving around in the snow, and curious how it feels with the stock 1290 foot pegs. So I also got the Powerxross gloves. Once again, the Gore-Tex to keep my hands warm, keep the water off of them. Interested to see how warm my hands stay in these. So we'll test these out as well.
Hi, boys. All right, what's up, everyone? Now here on the bike, testing out the gloves and the boots. I didn't get out quite as early as I wanted to, so it's warmed up a little bit. We're up to 32 degrees, but I think it's still a fair test on how these gloves and boots handle. First impressions, I have the heated grips off. The hands are warm so far, just in the short ride over here. I can tell a big difference between where the gloves are and then where my jacket starts. So they are definitely keeping my hands warm. We'll see how after riding for a half an hour or so, how they feel. Boots, same thing. Toes are toasty warm. I only put on just kind of normal, regular, thin socks, and they're doing amazing. So yeah, just out here, wanted to test these. Got these specifically for the upcoming snow bike trip, and you can rent the gear, but I was kind of like, do I really want to rent something and spend all that money and then never get to use it again? So I tried to balance gear that I would use again and use on this 1290, and whether it be the winter time or something like that. So I definitely see myself using these boots. They feel great when I shift, no issues there. Originally was a little worried because they seem thick, but no issues at all. I didn't have to move the shifter or anything. I've already used both when it was just in the normal snow, when I was out there shoveling and playing with the kids, and they worked great for that as well. So for the price, it was well worth getting it. I'll be able to use it on the snow trip, and I'll do another review on how they work for the snow bike. I'm used to a boot that doesn't flex as much. I wear the CDs, dirt bike boots normally, but there's no insulation in those, so it's not the best when you're going to be riding in snow. Last thing you want is cold feet. Well, I didn't buy this bike to be a little bitch. So the good news is I made it. The bad news is my feet are wet. So I have to see. I think where the weak point was where my pants velcro in. I don't have like the full snow gear, so that's a little disappointing, but nice to test out now rather than when I get to Colorado and end up all cold the whole day. So I've probably been riding for about an hour now. I did start to get a little bit of coldness in my hands. So I was hoping the gloves would be slightly better and I wouldn't have any feeling of coldness. But even with my feet getting a little wet, my feet are still warm. The boots have been absolutely amazing. But that's a quick little review on the boots and Klim gloves.
All right, so I have been able to test out the boots and gloves in a little bit more longer conditions. Went out and rode the bike in the snow. Went on a ride with Mario from Two Wheeled Rider, 200 miles that day. And a few things that I did notice after riding it longer. Did feel some tingling or coldness in my fingertips. I was using my heated grips on the longer day. So I was kind of hoping the gloves would be a little bit better, but I think on the snow bike trip it'll be okay because I'll be working myself a lot more than on the street bike and not hitting, 60, 70 miles per hour. The boots, also, for the most part, they did great. Towards the end of that 200-mile day, I did feel a little bit of coldness in my toes, but also same thing. That day I was just wearing regular socks and nothing special, so I think if I would have thrown on a thicker pair of socks, would have been fine. Also want to touch on when I got water in my boots, it was because I didn't have them laced up all the way. It had nothing to do with the pants. It did come in through the boots. I had the tongue of the boot off to the side a little bit and not laced up nice and tight, so you will want to make sure on the boots that you get them laced up nice and tight, and I think they'll be fine from there. Overall, very impressed with the gloves and boots. As I said before, I think both will serve multiple purposes, from just shoveling snow to being able to ride in cold temperatures. Around that 32-degree Fahrenheit mark is kind of where I was testing stuff. I think I did some down to 28 degrees, speeds up to 75 miles per hour. Normally I've never gotten out on my bike and actually rode in those temperatures, so very impressed overall with the boots and the gloves, and suggest for those that want to get out and ride in the cold weather, check them out. And a big shout out to JT Motorsports for all your help with the gloves and the boots. I'll catch y'all next time.